Shavua Tov, everyone. Welcome to Till's Tell Stories for Saturday night. The title of this week's video is A Timely Taxi Delivery. I freely adapted it from the rough translation of my Mechutin, the knowledgeable Reb Shlomo Weinstein of London. An American Jew, before immigrating to Israel, went one Sunday to 770 Eastern Parkway, Brooklyn, New York, to receive a blessing from the Lubavitcher Rebbe. The Rebbe blessed him and handed him $2, two $1 bills, saying one for you and the second for the taxi driver. The man was somewhat amazed by the second dollar and even more by the Rebbe's instruction. Still, he saved both dollars in his wallet, and on the day of his Aliyah flight to Israel, he thought about giving the dollar to the taxi driver who drove him to JFK Airport. But no luck. The driver was clearly not Jewish. Then, when he arrived in Israel, he thought about giving the dollar to the taxi driver who drove them from the airport to the absorption center, the Merkaz Klita, where they would stay until they found their own place. However, realizing that the driver was preoccupied and visibly nervous, the man judged that the Rebbe did not mean this driver either. There were other taxis over the years, of course, but not as many as you might think, because he was now accustomed to taking the buses or perhaps even had his own car. But none of the drivers seemed to fit the bill. And so the dollar remained in his wallet for 30 years. One day, our now veteran immigrant was riding in the taxi in the Tel Aviv area. He saw that the driver did not wear a skull cap, but had a book of Psalms near his seat and had pasted on the gear stick a picture of the Lubavitcher Rebbe. They started talking. The driver told him that in recent months he had decided to try and strengthen himself to be more in harmony with his Jewish roots, and as a result, he was now studying Torah regularly at the Chabad Center in his neighborhood. Finally, the man thought excitedly to himself, suddenly recalling the mission the Rebbe had delegated to him. He took out his wallet from his pocket and said to the driver, "Here, take this, please. It is $1 the Rebbe told me to give to the taxi driver." The driver stamped on the brakes, causing the cab to swerve sideways, because he stamped so hard on them. Fortunately, it stopped safely at the side of the road. The driver turned to the startled passenger and said excitedly, "Do you know what you did? Since I started my return to Torah and mitzvot, it has been difficult for me at home. My wife is not agreeable at all. Today she challenged me again. What are all these ridiculous beliefs that you've adopted? Do you actually think it makes sense that the Rebbe will send you $1 for a blessing? The Rebbe is long gone. 30 years, 20 years. Let's see him send you $1 now. I can't wait to go home and show her the dollar and tell her about you. I just know that this will move her to a more positive stance, and perhaps even a supportive one." The passenger now understood what the Rebbe's intention was by the taxi driver 30 years earlier. Acquiring a Rebbe dollar is extra meaningful to those who have never merited to be in the Rebbe's physical presence or weren't born in time. The gatherings around the world 2 days ago on his 32nd yahrzeit helped to remind us that the best way to increase one's connection to the Rebbe is to study his teachings on a regular basis. Shavua Tov, have an excellent week.